Graham, now you're carrying live cargo. And when he said that, it suddenly dawned on me what he meant, and yeah, it's completely different to what the lorry drivers are doing.
So I thought I'd better add a little footnote here to explain what you just heard. Poor old Kevin was driving, and all over the Highlands here, you've got these logging trucks that just belt down the roads at goodness knows how many miles an hour, and they don't care what happens to everybody else on the road. And one had just forced us just to veer off the side of the road slightly, and we hit a little tree branch or something. Nothing to worry about, but even so. And Graham was just explaining that obviously when you're driving a coach, you've got live, as he said, live cargo to think about, where the loggers don't have to think about anything.
Bit of Lochie. Looking down over Loch Garry.
I'm sorry. That's the worst thing you could do to anyone. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. But you can see the inside. Yes,
Lovely. Just thought I'd get this little bit in here. We stopped at a viewpoint, but it's very, very difficult to get a view of the lake. We got these lovely purple flowers here, and there's hollyhocks and ferns and heathers all over the place. But then of course this is Scotland. A little bit more of a view before we leave here. Today, what's today? Tuesday, the whatever it is of July 2024. You lose track when you're on a coach trip. We are on the road to the Isles today, and our destination is Portree on the Isle of Skye.
Scotland,
This needs another little explanation. I'd always thought that the road to the Isles was actually the road to the Isle of Skye. It wasn't until after I've recorded all this video that I found out that the road to the Isles is actually the road to Macleod, because that is where all the ferries used to go from. Not quite so many now. So delete any reference to the road to the Isles that I make in any of these films.
On the viewpoint now.
That's the viewpoint.
This is the viewpoint he meant coming up.
Well, no, the other one back there was the official viewpoint. It even said Glengarry viewpoint. But if we have the chance here, I don't think we're going to get any. I think it's too full. We'll have to have a butcher's on the way back. But you can see it looking out the window anyway. Then we're going to carry on and get going. Still got. So lock down to our left now is Loch Loyne. Loch Loyne.
Hydroelectric. There's some water gushing out there. And more trees. Clooney down. I wonder where Clooney's cave is. Yeah, I expect Alan Breck Stewart to come roaring at us in a minute. Oh, David Balfour, wasn't it? The young lad. Of Shores.
No idea what you're talking about.
Kidnapped, Robert Louis Stevenson.
Film.
And the book. Of the film. Of the book.
By three seal maidens. They'd thrown off their furs, assumed the likeness of humans, and danced in the moonlight on the sands. Now the brothers stole their furs, intended to claim the sea maidens as their wives. The youngest brother, however, moved by the seal girl's distress, reformed her seal skin. For his kindness, the girl's father allowed the youngest brother to visit the maiden every ninth night. As for the other two brothers, the middle brother lost his wife after the sea maiden he had captured and found her stolen fur, while the eldest brother burnt his wife's fur as a preventative measure, only to burn her accidentally in the process. I'm sure there's thousands of myths and legends surrounding the Highlands of Scotland. Pass across the causeway in a minute, and looking back over Loch Druick, of course, Loch Shiel up, Glen Shiel around us.
Looking back down now towards Shield Bridge, from where quite a narrow road leads over the mountains to the other side, where the coast finally faces the very southern bit of the Isle of Skye. There is a little place there called Glenelg, which has a very unique ferry service to the Isle of Skye. It's the last working turntable ferry, certainly in Europe, if not in the world. A unique thing where the boat just comes alongside the jetty, and instead of having to line up the back or the front to load and unload vehicles, they just turn the deck. Marvellous little thing. I'll try and put a link in it.
Remnants of an old church over to the right there.
That's probably the only view I'm going to get of Eileen Doonan Castle. It's a very Jobsworthy place.
What do you want to go there for? Disgusting. Yeah, you take your castle and you can. Sun doesn't shine springs to mind. Sorry about that, guys. I'll see if I can book us in for later on this afternoon, but I'm not overly bothered if we can't. There's loos down here. We do drinks on the coach, and actually you'll probably get better photos from here.
Yeah.
Won't you? So this is all works out in the end.
So up it's killed.
Coffee shop, bake shop, oh.
Closed.
It's closed.
Toilets are open. Yeah, back in, Kevin, back in.
Well, there is Eileen Doonan Castle. The bridge going over to it. and the coach park where we were rudely turned away because we weren't booked in. So we parked on the bus stop just outside, and the man from the car park came in. He said, "You can park there," he says, "but you're not coming in to use my toilets."
She went something like this. Graham pulled up on the bus stop. Next thing, this high-vis thing appears at the doorstep saying, "You cannot stop here." And Graham politely pointed out that it was a bus stop. It was outside of his jurisdiction, and so he was going to stop there. To which the response came, "Ah, well, stop if you must, but you cannot use my toilets."
So fortunately, there's another place over the bridge that you can see there. That's a pretty new bridge. I wonder if there was a ferry there beforehand. And so many places like this used to have ferries crossing. But if I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to get back to if I am, over there is the southern part of the Isle of Skye. But I'll need to check that out. I could be very wrong. Anyway, you might just be able to hear the pipers over there. Rescued and restored in the early 1920s and 30s, and been open to the public ever since. And I'm afraid that's the closest we're going to get to it. No idea what reflections I'm getting. There's Kyleakin over in the distance.
Or rather, Kyleakin.
So there's the over to the left, the Eileen Doonan, the East Lighthouse, just on the one of the isles, just over to your left there. You can see the Skye Bridge up in front of us now. Just over, you're looking over the water.
Just coming into the Kyle now.
See the island in the middle. Bear with me. Yeah, looking over to your left, across the water at my 10 o'clock, you can see little sort of some white buildings. Maybe not now, we've come down this far. That's where the ferry port was. We're going to go down near there in a bit as we come down.
Amazing amount of business here.
There's a helicopter down there.
Somewhere along here. It's the railway bridge. That is what I'm looking for. Here we go. Yes, no. Isle of Skye station.
I could say an awful lot about Isle of Skye. Here, obviously, was the departure point for the Skye ferry to Kyleakin. And also, I think the ferries to Macleod used to call in here. And in the other direction, out to Stornoway, because that's where that ferry went from until it was transferred to Otherpool. Nowadays, there's quite a bit of fishing, and a lot of supply vessels leave here to take supplies and that to the smaller islands. So there's still plenty of industry, surprising amount of industry, in fact.
Yeah, so this is where the ferry port is this side. It looks like it's still running. The train line goes down to the ferry there. Author, naturalist, not a naturalist. I can never tell the difference between the two. One doesn't wear clothes and the other one does. I suppose that's the difference between the two. He was best known for his non-fiction writing and his work with otters. He wrote the book Ring of Bright Water back in 1960 about how he brought an otter back from Iraq and raised it in Scotland. Now the otter was of a previously unknown subspecies which was subsequently named the Maxwell. Ring of Bright Water sold more than 1 million copies and was made into a film in '69 starring Bill Travers and Virginia McKenna. And it's on the, you should, from over that side, which is where we're going to be putting up, just over there on the left. When we get there, You'll get views back of the bridge, and you should be able to see the islands underneath us. You should be able to see Maxwell's cottage from there. So we are very, very close to being on the Isle of Skye. Yay! One clap. One out of 32 ain't bad, is it?
Well, I'm looking over now towards Isle of Skye because we are at Kyleakin. And there is the railway station with its long platform canopy and the road that comes right the way down between the platforms. That used to be a hive of activity, fish trains, passenger trains, parcels. Sadly, no more, but at least I've been past the end of this part of the North Highland line. There's just Thurso and Wick to do now. We'll have a look at the Skye Bridge. And now, as part of the Skye Bridge scheme in 1995, they had to build that new viaduct there over the entrance to Lochhouse. But over here is the Skye Bridge and the way out to the Atlantic Ocean and the Western Isles. Look at that. And we've just been over it. Kyleakin is not as I imagined it. It is a lovely little place. Look. I'll bring the zoom back. Heading into the sunshine, unfortunately. It's clean. Lovely little buildings. Restaurants. A couple of pubs. It looks like a bit of a fishing industry. And that is Kyleakin.
Still, water-based activity goes on here at Kyleakin, but it's mainly personal boats now, like a little marina, and a little bit of touristy boat trips goes on, glass-bottom boats, that sort of thing. The road down here does carry on, and it ends up at the end of the slipway. So if you're not careful, you could drive straight down the road and almost straight into the water. That's the only clue that it was ever a ferry port.
We are on the Isle of Skye, looking back towards Scotland, on the main road to Portree, which comes up there and over that bridge. But we've stopped to have a look at some falls. They call this the road to the Isles because after Portree it goes on to, I think it's probably pronounced Wick, but it's got UIG, and that's where the ferries leave for north and south, and I would say west. Yeah, it's a lovely falls that is, isn't it? Beautiful.
Sincere apologies to all Gaelic speakers out there, but my best effort at pronouncing this place is as follows. Yesh Avradein.
all the way up there, under the road, and all the way down there to the sea. Lovely. I'm standing in the middle of the main square in Portree on the Isle of Skye. Somebody's just looked at me as if I've got three heads. The place is absolutely crawling. Coaches, there's a cruise ship in. We've just had a nice lunch. I don't really want to get too close over there because there's too many people, but there's what appears to be a war memorial there. Rather nicely sculptured as we come down. Come down even further. There. People just... It's almost impossible to take film here, isn't it? Wherever you stand, somebody wants to go. I'm sure they do it deliberately. Anyway, let's take a walk and see what more we can find. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that was a bit extreme, wasn't it? I think I'd maybe better qualify some of my feelings here. Tourism, while obviously desperately needed for the economy of the area, very often when you come to a place like this, because of its small size, it brings its own problems, not just for the locals, but also for the visitors. In mine and Jackie's case, we barely found somewhere where we could get something to eat. The place is literally crawling with visitors because of the cruise ship and all the coaches and everything else. And I do sometimes wonder whether some places have reached such a saturation point that maybe some kind of limit has got to be put on how many people can come in at any one time. It's a nice place, Portree, but as I say, with all these cars, with all these people, you literally couldn't stop a pavement and look inside a shop window without somebody almost nudging you to get past. It ruins the enjoyment of the day, and I think for visitors and locals as well. I honestly don't know what the answer is. But I think, as you can see, this is a very typical example of the point I'm trying to make. Has tourism got too much for some places?
Anyway, there is the Loch Portree, or the Bay of Portree. Interesting architecture. Probably the main shopping street. But well, this is the harbour front, if you like. Quite an interesting building there.
I'll walk it out.
I give up. Anyway, that's overlooking, and I say, it's Portree. We're going to go back down through them mountains in a few minutes. But I think that's about as all as I'm able to film today. There's too many people. Now the coach park is down there. It's quite a nice view. And there's the toilets, looking up towards the main square again. We'll take a quick final view or two as we walk up here. That's the way back out. Actually, it's the way in and out, the way the roads are arranged. But as you can see, all sorts of people here. Italians, Germans, people off cruise ships, people from... So, fancy meeting you here. Can I hold anything for you while you go? Just round the corner. Do you need my radar, please? Just in case avoiding a queue. We're just having a look. That's the way out. It's also the way in. That's the way the little town has been organised. I don't think there's many more than 1,000 residents here. It also has the only secondary school on the whole of the Isle of Skye, which is perhaps understandable. There's probably not more than 10,000 people who live here. Bank of Scotland, lovely. Some nice buildings here, look. It's a church. Square is very interesting. And there, reversing into place, ready to pick us up, is our trusty steed.
And he knows it would bounce, so that's why we so what we're going to do for our loo stop, we're going to try and get back to where we dropped off this morning for the loos before we then leave them, then leave there and follow our way back down towards.
I'm just standing here now. There's these two mountain ranges called the Coolins. Why is it whenever I film, somebody else always gets in the way or comes from behind? Just look over there. Those are the black Coolins. And the reason why we've stopped here is because, where is it? I've lost it. Where that lorry has just gone over, that is, believe it or not, the new bridge for the main road. Behind that, where we can't see it and it's too far down for me to get to, it's the old bridge. I think by lifting this up, you might be able to see the parapet of the old bridge. Can you see it there? Just in the background. That was the old bridge on the original main road. Sorry for the shake. That's it. On the way back to the hotel, the weather is definitely turning.
I'm back over Skye Bridge now. There was a sign back there saying and a barrier. Under high winds they closed the bridge. I'm guessing if the winds are that high they won't be sailing either. I'm just going to slow it down as we go over. There's where we parked up early for our pictures. Incredible views here. Of course the lighthouse should be right underneath us now. Just see the top of the Yeah, the lighthouse just to the left actually, just to the left as you like, top of the lighthouse, and of course there's the cottage there on the right hand side. So this is the island. I still haven't worked out how you get onto it. That's the island. Now we're heading back onto the mainland. Gavin Maxwell Museum down there as well.
Oh, Ring of Bright Water fame.
Isle of Skye, back on the mainland now. About 15 minutes or so till we get down to our
Isle of Lockhouse again. And over the railway. On the Royal Scots Inn. Ah. Shame I couldn't see the other side of it.
And that's where we'll leave our journey for today. The rest of the way back to Fort William, it was obviously the opposite side of what we'd already come up. There was nothing overly spectacular that needed to be filmed. And of course, I needed to keep this programme down to a reasonable length for viewing. I think I have done about the same time as a TV programme, half hour. I hope you've enjoyed our visit to the Isle of Skye, and look forward to seeing you on our next video, where we should be going to Glen Cove.